Hello again. Final review, the Hitachi RB24EAP, I believe it was. It's worn off now. Um, I I've had this for over right at 10 years, a little bit over 10 years when I started my business. This was my first blower. Um, I wasn't deciding if I was going to stay in the business, or if it was going to be a short-term thing. I was just going to see how it went, and I I did a lot of good years of work with this. Don't let the size of this tube fool you. These blowers are a tremendous value for a gas handheld blower. It was the best kept secret on the market. 7-year unlimited warranty from Hitachi. Unfortunately, Hitachi no longer makes gas blowers or gas equipment. They're bought by, I forget the company, Tabo or whoever, battery operated crap now. Anyway, I'm sad to say, rest in peace. This baby is done. I scorned the cylinders in it, and I think what has happened, it wasn't because of fuel mixture, it was the actual, I think the wrist pin got a little loose in there, and it got the piston just a little bit off guide, and I didn't realize it. And I was revving up, and I heard a loud screech, and it was still running. I stopped it, pulled the cylinders out, the spark plug out to look at the cylinder. I could see the damage in there done, and I could hear a little bit. I don't know if see if it'll do it. No, you can't hear it now. But when it was hot, you could hear the little pin in there clinking back and forth. And unfortunately, it's hard to find parts for these now. I believe, even though it's part of the Tanaka, whatever it is, product line, you just can't find much parts. They're out there, but not really, and it's not worth it. Put it that way. Let's go there. When you find them, it's not worth it. So I'm going to go ahead and just probably toss this and or give it to a friend of mine. He is a hobbyist. He might put it back together and do something with it. I don't know. It'll sit on my shelf otherwise, or go to the trash can. But 10 years, and it gave me plenty of service. Granted, now once I got my backpack blowers, I used it a lot less, but I used it for gutter cleaning. And as you can see, I put a hole here, and I built a custom pipe that went up to the gutters from another gutter pipe cleaner thing, and I fit it where I could pin it, and I could walk alongside of a house and simply use this and blow. And let me tell you, the power of the blower on this thing, I talked about on videos before. I kind of regret not showing it in action. People denied me and said, oh no, you're full of it, it's not that great, blah 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 blah. Well, people who said that never owned one and never even tried them. When I bought this, they were selling at Lowe's. I want to say it was, I think, $149, $169, or something like that. And I mean, that was kind of steep at the time. And they were on sale, though, for $99. So I jumped on it back then. And then I went to the counter, and they gave me an additional $10 also. It was actually $89, then basically covered the tax. So it was $100. Let's call it $100. And at the time, if I would have known how good this handheld blower would have been, I'd have bought 3 or 4 of them at that price and just had them sitting up. I would have stored them away in boxes, and then as one like this one blew up, I would just fire another one up and kept them. But now I'm at the point where I'm probably not going to ever buy. I shouldn't say ever. Probably won't be buying gas handhelds anymore. I like the Echo little battery operated one, and I probably will buy other battery operated as the power gets better on those. I don't use them enough to on a daily basis, and the gutter cleaning I do now and stuff I can do with those handheld battery operated one with no problem. I'm going to miss this one though. If you've owned one, you know what they're about. If you still have one running, take care of them. They're precious. I've been looking for one just to see if I found a used one. Someone's selling, just they let gas build up and sit in it or whatever, and it needs a carburetor rebuild. I'd do that. I would mess with that. But beyond that, I'm not interested in rebuilding engines anymore. Those days are over with. I would say, if you're a beginner in the business, you need a handheld. People always say, oh, go to Steel, go to, Echo, all these brands. They tell you to go to them, the common name ones. if you see one of these on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist even, and if someone's selling one for 25, 30 bucks, and especially if it's in running condition, and if it's an older person who just says, hey, I've got a lawn coming on, I'm getting rid of the equipment, you know they haven't really abused it or used it really hard. Granted, you're not going to get warranty coverage on it anymore, but if you take care of it, put the right fuel in it, you'll get plenty of use out of it. I mean, you can tell how long I've had this. This has seen some hard times and work. I'm not denying that I worked the crap. The only problem I ever did have with it was the fan. At one point, it did come loose, the nut did there, and it started spinning. And I didn't want to send it back to Hitachi for all that stuff. And I talked to somebody at Hitachi at the time, the department there, and they said, well, it's kind of a faulty thing. The stuff we use to seal where it is in there, it comes loose. And the guy told me if you use medium grade Loctite, that's exactly what we're going to do. You'll be fine. So I took the few screws out, unbolted it, put medium grade Loctite, never had a problem again. He answered my question. Took me 15 minutes of that to do that. Besides that, most wonderful handheld blower. I think it's a shame that it was ignored by so many. And I think that a lot of especially landscapers said they looked at this nozzle and said, God, it's small. That's just not going to do anything. And it was quite the opposite. It was the best kept, I'm telling you, the best kept handheld secret. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this. There was other lawn crews around me when I was first couple of years of using it, and I was just getting started. And one of the guys was real nice to me. He says, "Oh, you need to get a backpack blower." And then I said, "Well, have you seen what this thing does?" And he was running. I want to say it was the smaller Echo. I can't remember the backpack blower. It wasn't a 700. It was one of the smaller ones back then. Anyway, I can't remember. But he was shocked. This almost kept up beat for beat as far as blowing stuff. The only advantage he had on me was his had a wider span of blowing. Now, like, let's say my driveway here, his were blowing it completely off, whereas this handheld, like most handhelds, it's blew about 3/4 easily, and then you just swing it over. Whereas he could just go, shoo, 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 and it was, fast. But this still did it, and I was knocking out yards. That when I got a backpack blower, the 580 Husky I bought, only picked up maybe a few minutes with that. That's the only difference in speed. I'm not exaggerating on that either. Like I said, I'm going to miss this handheld blower. And if you do have one and you're enjoying it, you know what I'm talking about. If you never saw one or you never even heard about them, unless you saw them on my video or you just thought they were a joke or because he was a Hitachi, they made them in the other version, the Tanica or whatever it is, and an orange version also. And a lot of people didn't know. I don't think they bought those. I never saw them around. Anybody with them. And at the time, I didn't know that they were the same models. I didn't even know that they had a handheld the same kind. So anyway, I thought I would let you know the final days have happened with this baby. And if you followed me from the beginning, it's a sad day for all of us. Keep it mowed. But things change, time moves on, and vintage stuff sometimes just is gone with the wind, as they say. It sure gave me more time than my little stand and stow mower that's got a cracked chassis now. Anyway, until next time, have a good one.